Well, ladies and gentlemen, the NFL draft, the first round of the NFL draft has concluded. Some crazy stuff, some interesting news, and obviously some of the really deci- deciding factors of who's going to go where and who's going to do what and how it's really going to play into next season. Some surprises, some things shocking, and unfortunately, some things that really pissed me the hell off. We're going to talk about it. Make sure you guys hit that like, that thumbs up. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you do subscribe. Click that bell, turn on your notifications. That way you don't miss a stream. I'm standing right now because my knees are killing me. I was playing basketball yesterday. I normally play basketball on Thursdays and running for like 2 hours straight. It's got my knees really killing me. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into it. Shout out to all the listeners, all the watchers, Wrench Gang, the family. Love to each and every one of you. Tactical draft day 2. Here we go. Yeah, man. We got to talk. We got to talk before we get into round 2, though. Shantae, what up? What's going on with you, Shantae, in the house? So yeah, let's go ahead and just dive right into this stuff that makes sense, stuff that doesn't make sense, and then we'll chop it up and go from there. Obviously, round 2 has not started yet, but the Bills are on the clock. They'll have the first pick in the second round. And obviously, I do want to start with the Bills, right? I want to start with the Bills. I want to talk about these guys right here. So, obviously, last night, everyone knows, or you should know, that Xavier Worthy was the number 28 pick. The Bills had the number 28 pick. They decided to trade with the Kansas City Chiefs, the kryptonite of the Bills. Anyways, they decided to obviously trade with the Chiefs, and the Chiefs obviously would get Xavier Worthy. It's not like the Bills need a wide receiver. Not at all. Not at all. Now, obviously, we do have a couple options down the road. McConkey could definitely be, a viable asset. There's still talent left. I get it. And there's going to be people that say, well, Bean's going to figure it out. He's going to mastermind this thing and really put it together. He has to. He has no other choice. I'll tell you this. I seen this comment earlier that someone had made, and it really bothered me. And I rarely get bothered by stuff. This person I'm not going to mention them by name, but it was on social media. And they said, longtime fan, over 40 years. I've got all the gear. I paid all my money out. I don't care if we bomb. I don't care if we win. I just want to watch the game. And I sat there for a second. I was like, that's a real fan. That's a real believer. But then I sat there and I said, well, wouldn't that make you complicit in mediocrity? Wouldn't that make you complicit in the fact of being okay with failure and loss? And I don't know about you, but I like to win. I go play basketball every Thursday, full court, 5-on-5. I want to win. I'm not going there to lose. I'm not jacking up threes to brick. I'm not finishing and going to the hole with the layup for it not to go in. I'm going to ball. I'm going to win. I'm going to have a sense of pride. Now, obviously, the health and all that kind of stuff plays a good factor into it because I get to run and get the lungs going, get the heart pumping, and get the blood moving and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to win. And when I don't win, because we play like 4 games, but when I don't win one of the games or 2 of the games that we play, I'm pissed off. I want to do better. I want to be better. So why wouldn't you want that for your team? All right, my rant's over. Shout out to you, Megan. Jay Miller, what up, yo? What's going on with you guys? It's brutal. How can you trade to the Chiefs? Shantae says, why did they trade back twice? They could have got Worthy. I listen. They said Brandon Beans got it all figured out, right? Eric, what up, yo? Mr. Piggy says, I am Duval native. How do you think my Jags did with the first pick last night? Listen, I like it. I like it. Look, the big thing about Jacksonville right now is even before the draft, they were putting in the decisions and making the trades to basically get them to the point of being a true competitor. Now, obviously, we worry about Trevor Lawrence and whether or not he's going to be, healthy, because that does play big question mark into what happens next season. But as far as just getting the draft right, it's just that extra chip on the shoulder that the Jaguars and the Jaguar fans should have. So yeah, you guys did great. I mean that. I really do. Unlike others. Unlike others. Tactical says Titans put the right tackle to play left tackle. I'm confused. Organization said we can turn him into a left tackle. Yeah, we'll work it out. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out down the road. We'll make that left hand work just like that right hand. We'll make it work. Timothy, the Bills decided to trade pick number 28 to Kansas City Chiefs, which pick number 28 was Xavier Worthy, the really fast, or the fastest, you could say, in the combine wide receiver. Now, granted, I get it. People are gonna say, "Well, Jay, he's super skinny and he looks frail." And I said the same thing, but guess what? You get this kid to eat some food, you get him in the weight room, you work on those calisthenics, right? And he should be good to go. You get some chemistry going with him and Josh Allen. You got someone that he can throw to that's hungry for it. Like I said, I didn't want to go full blown rant, but hey. But hey. Chris Sauce has been a fan for 55 years. I hate losing. If we don't get to the Super Bowl with Josh, we ain't never going to get there. You know, there's a fine level, right? There's a fine level, there's a fine draw of this statement for a couple of reasons. Because at the end of the day, I would like to say that I'm right with you, right? I would like to say that um Josh Allen would be the one that would take the Bills to the promised land and they'll figure it out. But I do think this year is going to be the defining moment of whether or not he's actually going to be that talented quarterback that we've all known to, grow and love. Because I think Josh Allen is at a point now where he's got the superstardom, right? You got your farm boy from a small town who's made it, and he's got the Bills on his shoulder. He's got the world on his shoulders now. He's looked at. All eyes are on Josh Allen. And at some point, I'm not saying that this is him. I'm just saying for what I see over the years. At some point, quarterbacks, wide receivers, they have a cliff, right? They get to that point and then it goes down from there. I'm not saying that's Allen right now, but what I'm saying is the window for Allen may be approaching. You have a rise, you have a prime, and then you decline. That's just the reality of it. So when it's going to happen is the question. That's the reality. That's the question. Uh Shout out to you, Mr. Piggy. Tim says, what do you think of the Bengals pick Mims? I'm not sure. I think that the real thing is this. Understanding the chemistry as far as with Joe Burrow right now and as far as that offense, I think the big problem is wide receivers basically requesting a trade or wanting out. That speaks volumes to me because it's like, well, why would you guys have this quarterback that you believe in so much and that has been great, and then all of a sudden you guys want out? Something's going on. Something's going on. I'm not saying it's over for the Bengals. I'm not saying they may not have another potential chance at a run, but I do think something's going on over there chemistry wise, and we'll have to see. Tactical says Arizona got Marvin Harrison Jr., maybe first year old 2.0. We'll see. Can they get the man the ball? Right? You got a talented wide receiver. Can you get him the ball? Is Kyler Murray that guy? That's going to be the question. But let's run down, right? Let's run down this list, and then we'll mine it out for the most part. Obviously, we know that the Bears got the number one overall pick, Caleb Williams. After that, you've got Jaden Daniels going to the Commanders. You got Drake May, which everyone was really surprised about this, but Drake May is going over to the Patriots. We'll have to see how that works out. Um, I think he could really complement Bailey Zappi, and of course we know. Well, I can't really say we know anymore because Mayo's the coach now. So yeah, this is just wide open right now for the Patriots. So they'll obviously figure out, who's going to be the best between quarterbacks over there. Drake may be the choice. Zappi may be the choice. But I don't think Bailey Zappi's job is really secured right now with Bill Belichick being gone. So yeah, this could be a great opportunity for Drake May. Marvin Harrison Jr. obviously gone to Arizona. Now, once again, you've got a lot of talent there. You've got um, a lot of energy. You got a special wide receiver that if you don't use him to his full potential, then obviously it's wasted, right? Um, Kyler Murray obviously needs help. We'll see how that works. But the big thing for Arizona right now too is I think defense. They got to get the defense together. So I do expect Marvin Harrison to do great if Kyler can get him the ball, and hopefully they can create some kind of chemistry there. Joe Alt from Notre Dame is going to be with the Chargers. He'll be the an offensive tackle, which is great because we know that the Chargers definitely needed help with that line. Malik Neighbors is going to be a wide receiver. I keep saying B. Malik Neighbors is going to be a wide receiver for the Giants out of LSU. I said that the Giants may need more of an offensive minded draft, but they're going to really figure out their running as well because we know that Saquon Barkley's gone, so definitely need to focus on that. After that, it's going to be J.C. Latham for the Titans, offensive tackle out of Alabama. Michael Penix Jr., which this one was crazy. Before we even get to the pick that I really went crazy about, this one was nuts because we know that Atlanta paid Kirk Cousins so much money. And so I kind of get it. It makes sense. We know that Kirk Cousins is getting to the point of age. So, yeah, you have him because he's reliable. You have him because he's a veteran and can get the job done for the most part. And then you're going to have Michael Penix sit under him to really get the game down, really understand it, develop more. And then if something happens to Cousins, or obviously he has like a 2-year run and it's time to move on, you've got a great quarterback in Michael Penix. So, yes, I get it. That's great. But it was surprising. It was surprising for sure. Next after that's going to be Rome Odunze. Now, this was huge. This is huge. You've got Caleb Williams with Rome Odunze. That's going to be a nice duo. And obviously, the real thing is whether or not you're going to have a situation with Caleb Williams and Rome if they can get that chemistry, if he can figure out, a great offense with Chicago. This is going to be huge. And you got to really sit back and wonder what Justin Fields is saying right now. He's probably pissed off. But yeah, this looks good. This looks good for the Bears. They got some good pickups. JJ McCarthy, right? Going to the Vikings. Now, this was a swapped out pick. How this happened? I watched it for a second, and I had some other stuff going on, but I did hear it in the background. This was a swap that the Vikings got. So they ended up with JJ McCarthy, which absolutely works because they need a quarterback. And who else to get but the champion from last year? And I like J McCarthy. I like what he did with Michigan. I think he's going to be great. Him with Justin Jefferson should be huge. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes as well. Next for out of Penn State is going to be Olu Fashanu, offensive tackle. He'll be going to the Jets. Can't go wrong there. I mean, obviously, if you want to add to that O line. All right. Next after that's Bo Nix. I told you guys yesterday that I really, really like Bo Nix. I really wanted to see, what he would potentially do. I did think that he would maybe go to the Raiders, which he actually didn't. The Broncos picked him up. This could be good. Now, the real question is whether or not Sean Payton has his quarterback. Can you work with this kid, and are you going to be able to utilize him the way that you need to get this Broncos franchise going down the right path. So yeah, I like Bo Nix. I think that's promising for him. I think it's promising for the Broncos. So Broncos, you should keep your fingers crossed. Have your quarterback. After that's going to be Brock Bowers. I love this kid. Brock Bowers, like I told you guys yesterday, he definitely reminds me of, Rob Gronkowski Jr. He's going to do great. He's going to be with the Raiders at number 13. That's going to be huge. Definitely want to see him ball. Hopefully, he's utilized to his full potential. Number 14, obviously, Talisa Fuaga at offensive tackle. 15 is going to be Liatu Latu at edge for the Colts out of UCLA. Byron Murphy, this is a great pickup, defensive tackle for Texas, out of Texas. That'll be for the Seahawks at 16. Then obviously Dallas Turner from Alabama off the edge there. He'll be heading to the Vikings. It's going to be nice for them. Amarius Mims, offensive tackle out of Georgia for the Bengals. I think he should be good. I think he should definitely help. Jared Verse, edge out of Florida State, will go to the Rams. Troy Fautanu, offensive guard out of Washington, is going to be for the Steelers. Chop Robinson off the edge for Penn State will be going to Miami. Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo, will be going to the Eagles. And then Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver out of LSU. He's going to go to the Jags. This is huge. Like we were talking about the Jags earlier. They're doing great. They're doing great, and you should be focused on them. You should be looking at what's going on over there. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot going on with the Jags right now, and I really think the big thing for them is that they can really nail this draft as well and figure out. I think you've got a great offensive scheme. I think if you focus more on that defense heading down in the draft, they should be a force to be reckoned with. Next after that, it's going to be Terrion Arnold, cornerback out of Alabama. He's going to go to the Lions. Jordan Morgan out of Arizona, offensive tackle, going to Green Bay. Graham Barton, center out of Duke, is going to Tampa Bay. Darius Robinson off the edge from Missouri. He's going to be going to Arizona. And then we get to pick number 28. Pick number 28, Xavier Worthy. The kid's fast. He's got the record right now for the combine. Yes, he is small. Small meaning skinny. But that can be fixed, right? The real question is he going to have the hands? Is he going to be developed into the wide receiver that a team needs? I think he will be if he has the right people behind him. Obviously, we know that Kansas City has been pretty good at picking people from the draft. So yeah, I think this kid's going to be a superstar, and unfortunately, the Bills passed up on him. But yeah, we'll keep it going. Next after that, for Dallas, it's going to be Tyler Gutton out of Oklahoma. Nate Wiggins out of Clemson's going to the Ravens. Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver out of Florida. And then Xavier Legette, wide receiver out of South Carolina, will go to the Panthers. And that's your first round, everyone. Like I said, it was very interesting to see everything last night. There was some picks that really, made me scratch my head. There was some picks that was like, wow, that really happened. But for the most part, I think it's a great and talented group of individuals. I think, the big problem is which quarterbacks are going to be the most productive, right? We get into this every year. And if I'm not mistaken, there's only maybe one or two quarterbacks from the last draft that are really standing out. So, you never really look at number one. You never look at number two. You look at 6, 7, 8, 9, and that's normally how it goes. Could it be different this year? We always say that. It could be different this year. We never know, but that's just the reality of it. Let me hop into the chat with you guys. Says, hope the Patriots don't ruin the kid. We'll see. Shout out to you, Shante. Conrad says, San Francisco draft pick shows up how dysfunctional they are now. Tactical says Penix sits behind Cousins a couple of seasons. Yeah, I think he's going to sit behind him a couple of seasons. I think he's the backup plan. Eric says, Jay, do you think we will draft the cornerback from Iowa? We should. I mean, listen, if Bean is going to figure this out, I think the reality is you've got to get some of the strongest people that you can, obviously that you traded for these specific positions in the second round and further. Um, we've talked about Brandon Bean nailing the draft. We talk about Brandon Bean actually getting it right. Considering this is probably one of the worst off seasons that we've had in the last 6, 7 years, if you're a Bills fan, the reality of right now is it's not just about the defense though, right? Because who the hell is Josh Allen going to throw to? So you're hoping that he can figure out a wide receiver. You're hoping that he can figure out, a center, a corner, all this kind of stuff. And you're now in the second round. So you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. We'll see. We'll see. Jacob says, "Yo, Jay, you're streaming the draft tonight. I will see." Like I said, it's been really weird because I've had a bunch of stuff going on, but I'm trying to get back into it. If I do, obviously I'll be on time. If I'm not, then we'll kind of just do a recap of it. Corey says, "Afternoon. I can't believe your team gave that pick to KC away. Hope all is well. Just coming in. Shout out to you, Corey. Much love you." Yeah, yeah. There were some people who. This is what I hate, and hate's a strong word. This is what I hate. I hate when something that makes sense doesn't happen, right? And it's because of a direct decision by upper management. And then all you hear then is, "Oh, well, we didn't need him anyways. He's too skinny." Or "We didn't need him anyways. We don't think he's going to be great. Look at him. The man's in the first round of the draft for a reason, right? He has good hands. He can catch the ball. He's put up good numbers and good yards for Texas. So the reality is this: even if he is skinny, we know that you can eat, put some meat on your bones, and then go work out, right? We get that. The problem with this decision for me is that the Bills need a quality wide receiver. Now, obviously, if you want some speed, this is the kid to get the speed from. If you need somebody that for Josh Allen to throw the deep ball to that can make it down that far to catch the damn ball, it would be him. And guess what? We're not really worried about too much if you're throwing the ball that far because he's going to smoke whoever's guarding him. So when we're talking about these kind of things and trying to downplay a situation, how about the other way of it? Because this could have been a viable asset for Josh Allen to throw the deep ball to. Because there's nobody, and you could talk about Curtis Samuel and all that shit if you want to, but there's nobody right now that's going to be reliable for the deep ball that has that kind of speed. And we know he loves to chuck the ball up there and throw it pretty far. But I digress. I digress. Deadly says May is overrated. Yeah, I've been hearing that. I've been hearing that. But obviously, that's the overrated word is thrown around a lot. People were saying that CJ Stroud was overrated last year, and then obviously that he was going to be a bust considering how the season started for him, and then look what happened. So who knows? We'll just have to see. We'll have to see. I like the kid from Iowa at cornerback. I hope we get him. I wish we traded for Joe Alt. Um, Eric, I think the real problem is this, bro. The the issue at hand is obviously capital. We know that. So you've got someone who's kind of trying to piece this together as great as they can. And let me back up a minute because I do give Bean some credit, right? I get what you're trying to do. You're managing millions of dollars in cap space. You're doing what you can with what you have left. But a lot of the issues right now stem from the past decisions. Bad decisions, bad pickups, not being able to negotiate properly for veteran players who are not worth the money that they got. So, yeah, in the end, you have to give this person a little bit of shit because you're not in this situation because you made good decisions. You're in this situation because you made bad decisions. And that's the reality of it, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Titan says we're gonna take all, but the Chargers. Chargers took him at 5. Yeah, yeah. So listen, there's people that know there's teams that know that they have um a decent offense and they can kind of work around whatever quirks they have right now. And they know they need specific people to step up on either like, the offensive line or maybe the defense. And they've made sure to position themselves in those spots to pick up those people that are great right now coming out of the draft. The problem with the Bills is Bean's trying to figure out, okay, where can I save money from? Who's going to cost this much? Who's going to cost that much? Well, let me try this way, even though it may cost these wins down the road. They told us that this was going to be a pretty bad off season, right? Because we wouldn't really know what was going on. And I kind of believed it. And at the same time, I kind of didn't because I said, well, we would have these individuals as a core unit. Well, we don't have that anymore. So now moving forward into the opportunities that the Bills have in the draft, there are a few quality receivers that could be picked up. But now, so you're more so probably focusing on the offense or the defense rather than in the draft, than picking up someone that you should have that could play superstar football that could actually catch it. So, how I'm looking at it right now for any other team in the second round, obviously you're trying to get the best picks for the second round, and then we'll just go through the list here for the second round, and we'll try and figure this out as well. So obviously, second round, first pick, you've got the Bills, followed by the Patriots, followed by Arizona, the Commanders, Chargers, Titans, Panthers, which is obviously a swap. Commanders was a swap. Green Bay was a swap. Texans was a swap as well. Then you got Atlanta, Raiders, Saints is a swap. Colts, Giants, Jags, yeah, Jags, Bengals, Eagles swap. Steelers, Rams, Eagles. Then you got the Browns. I was gonna say Bengals. Looking for the logo. You got the Browns, the Dolphins, the Cowboys, the Buccaneers, Green Bay, Texans, the Bills at 28. So that's for the Bills, right? You've got come on, Jay. One and then two at 28. Lions at 29, Ravens at 30, 49ers at 31, and then Kansas City at 32. So yeah, you've got two picks this round that you're gonna have to absolutely nail. It's it's gonna be insane. It really is. So, but yeah, yeah. Eric says, "Watch. I bet we trade our second round pick down." Here's my question. Um, what is the from the just from the standpoint of obviously picking the best for your team? But what is the draft really to do? Does anybody know? I have a real idea. Shout out to you, Fredo. We'll get to you in a minute. Does anybody know what the draft is really for? Anybody? Somebody help me. So the obviously the draft is to acquire new individuals coming out of college who are rookies to complement your team, right? Now, obviously, at some point, you're going to have a team that does absolutely terrible. So they need to rely on certain individuals to come in and, either lead the team or be the superstar, namely something like the Bears. But when you have a team that has been built and that is essentially on a rebound, you're kind of picking up pieces because it's chess, right? It's chess. So Danny says, "Why do you guys say we like you on the team?" Um, why do we say we? That is a good question. Yeah, we'll talk about that soon too. So obviously, when you're in these situations when a team needs to rebound, you're looking for certain individuals to fill in the spots. So out of this huge roster, right, out of all these people you picked, obviously you're going to make some cuts. Obviously, you're going to keep some people, and some people aren't going to work out. So what do you do if nothing's working? Right? Obviously, you pick from the draft. You you go out to free agency. You pick up who you can as far as for a veteran. And this is probably one of the years where you're going to start to see a lot of teams really struggle with chemistry because there's so many different moving parts. And we talked about it over the past few years that there really hasn't been a true dominant team in the NFL, right? We know teams that win and just miraculously end up going on this run, but there hasn't been truly one team that anybody was like, "Oh, I know that this team's going to win," or "I know that this team is definitely going to the Super Bowl." Um, there has been some situations where like, "Oh, we know that this defense is absolutely amazing, and the other team's going to struggle." But for the most part, there's going to be a lot of uncertainty going into the next season, a lot of questioning things. And I'll tell you my theory on that. My theory on that is because of Vegas. My theory on that is because of Vegas, right? If you create uncertainty, if you create an unbalanced um 32 teams, then that leads to more of an opportunity for Vegas to figure out as far as the odds and become better for it. But we'll see. Fredo says the Bills are done for. Sorry. Hey, I've heard it so many times. Um, I just laugh at it now. I mean, if you feel that way, it's great. But I will tell you this: I rock with you Ravens, with some of you Ravens fans. Love some of you Ravens fans. Uh, but y'all ain't made the Super Bowl either. How about that? How about that? Draft Keon Coleman, yelling wide receiver. We know this. We know this. Talk about it. Danny says, "Why do you guys say we like you on the team?" Uh, I think when I say we, I think we're talking from like a fan point, right? Right? I mean, you meet the players, you go out, you buy their jersey, you put it on your back, you root for them every Sunday. So what are you supposed to say instead of we? Keep in mind, I don't really say we too much, but I do say it from time to time. But what are you supposed to say? Are you supposed to say them? Is it like us and them? Like we the fans and them the players? We the fans and them the organization? Like how are we supposed to say it? Let us know. Give me your insight, Danny Jones. I want to know. I want to know. TBE Trucking, what up, yo? Says we drafted a 170-pound little person. Stop it. That little person's gonna pay off for you guys. 357, what up, yo? Says let's go Cardinals, you heard. What's going on with you, 357? How you doing, bro? How you doing? Eric says Vegas loves making money. Of course. Of course. Vegas, that's their business. Their business is making money. It's just the reality of it. The beautiful thing about it is you can either figure out how to make money with them or you can go against it. It's up to you. It's up to you. I choose to stay out of it. I stay out of it. I don't bet no more. Shante, what up, yo? Says no hard feelings from this Ravens fan. Oh yeah. Listen, you're a part of the percentage that I rock with and I love. So you all good. You all good. Fredo says we're going to the bowl this year though. Our only problem is coaching. Been wanted, Harb's gone. Really? I don't know. I think Harb's the man for the job. Y'all been doing pretty good. Things just get sloppy at the end, and Lamar just couldn't finish last year. So, I don't think that's on Harbaugh. Unless you wanted him to take Lamar out, put somebody else in and see what happens. Uh then says I say the team name personally. All right, but like what does that mean though? Like Like, what does that mean? I'm confused. Like, do you do sports commentary? And then when you're talking about like your team, do you just say like the name? Is that what you want me to do? The Bills need. I won't say we anymore. I guess that makes it better. TB says we could have had Kool Aid. Yeah, listen, I said it yesterday. I thought I didn't know that was like his actual name. So I was like, who the hell's Kool Aid? I was like, who the hell's Kool Aid, yo? And I like went and looked. I was like, oh shit, that's his real name. Eric says I'd rather buy JD than give Vegas my money. Yeah, like I said, I came to like a point of it wasn't like an epiphany. It was just like, all right, you know, um, I don't want to be in the business of sports and be involved with like betting, right? And I've been hit up for like all like the sponsorships and all that kind of stuff to promote betting and stuff like that. And I turned it down. And it was like, don't get me wrong, it was decent money. But I said like if I'm not going to bet anymore, how can I promote something that I don't like I'm not going to be doing? So, you know, it's for me it's been bittersweet because obviously who doesn't want to make more money? But at the same time it's been good because I don't want to promote something that I'm not going to be a part of, you know. Thoughts on Caleb painting his nails, if any? Uh Listen, I don't like to get into politics. You guys know that. But from time to time we will get into these conversations as far as certain individuals and things that they do. Um Painting your nails. I think that's something I wouldn't do. Something I wouldn't want to see my son doing. Um the big thing about painting nails is if you're promoting something, right? If you're endorsing something. And when I say endorsing, I mean basically like you're standing behind it and you're considered to be a role model and kids are looking up to you. You kind of have to really understand what you're doing and what you're getting yourself into and who you're influencing. Because at the end of the day, if you're a superstar quarterback, well, now you're going to have little boys and girls um, painting their fingernail, right? And I'm just be real with you. I'll be damned if my son run up to me and be like, "Dad, look what Caleb did. Look, I did it too." And I'm like, "All right, listen, we gotta have a talk. We gotta have a conversation." Um, so I think that's one of the big things that a lot of uh a lot of the younger athletes really don't understand. And keep in mind, a lot of that comes from the household, right? How you were raised, how, what kind of traditional values you have and all that kind of stuff. So if it's not present, you can't really um you can't really knock the individual for that because they don't know any better, right? So the only thing that you can do is you can teach your offspring and your children, obviously right from wrong, and then they go on and live their life and do their thing. But I do think at some point, you know, I don't know who's going to be mentoring them and doing stuff like that, but there's got to be some kind of accountability held for those kind of things for sure, for sure. Shout out to you, Kai. Yeah, man, without a doubt. We did a live about that. We did a live about gambling and how it's been an addiction and everything like that. And it's a big thing. It's a big thing. A lot of people were going broke. A lot of people were taking their rent, their mortgage payments, and betting on sports. And unfortunately, there literally is a gambling addiction epidemic going on right now with middle aged men. And listen, what's crazy is I've started to see a lot of women like like Facebook and Instagram, and they're putting up parlays and they're betting, and some are winning. Don't be wrong, like not everybody loses, but some are winning and some lose, and it's like wow, like it's really getting crazy. Like there's people who have dedicated pages. They've got people paying them all kinds of money for the board. Listen, it's nuts. Um, I don't like I said, I don't want to be a part of that world. I don't pay the world. And I'll tell you why, because obviously when I was betting, and then a couple years ago when I was doing the picks and things like that, when everybody was winning money, it was all good. They would send me tips, it was all gravy. But the moment there was a loss, or if we won five in a row, we lost two, and then won seven in a row and lost three, it was all good and fine when we won. But when people lost, they got mad, they got aggravated, they got emotional about it. And that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing like personal things. Like we'll still do predictions and things like that, but I'm not doing no more personal picks and things like that. Shout out to you, bro. 357 says Baker Mayfield's year. Listen, he's got in the contract. He's got in the contract, so it could happen. It could happen. Taylor Swift to blame for female sports betting? I highly doubt that. There was females betting way before she even decided to step foot in Arrowhead Stadium. Um, no, Taylor Swift has brought more money to football than sports betting, female sports betting probably would, to be honest. It's just the reality of it. I don't remember any other individual of that kind of entertainment realm bringing so much money. It was like a little over $350 million just by their presence. So yeah. Eric says, Jay, you still gonna wear Gabe Davis jersey during the season? I am not. I am not, my friend. Unfortunately, the Gabe Davis jersey will have to be retired. I might even give it away. Might even give it away. Russ says, I'm just looking at the first round picks. Carr's got Marvin Harris. Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. Yep. Yep. He's with the Cards. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Round two will be tonight. I'm sure it's going to be all kinds of craziness and discussions. I will try to go live with you. If I do not, obviously I'll still give you guys updates and then we'll just recap about it. But I'll try to go live as it's going on. It's always a good time. With that said, enjoy your Friday. Make sure you guys stay safe out there. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you hit that like, that thumbs up, and of course, subscribe. And hopefully, I will see you all later. Have a good day.